Before we begin, I just want to take a brief moment to welcome everyone to the wonderful world of interaction design. We have a very exciting presentation for you today, and I want to take a special moment to recognize all the different community colleges across California who are attending today and all the special programs that are here to learn more about interaction design. And without further ado, I'm just going to pass it over to our faculty leader, Nicole, to begin.
Hi. Well, welcome everyone. We're really excited to have you here. So I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Nicole Chan. I'm the faculty lead for the Interaction Design Bachelor's degree here at Santa Monica College. And also here tonight and presenting to you is our program manager, Jeff Gordon, and an IxD alumni, Miguel Brian Juteau. I don't know if you guys want to just say hi really quick.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you all.
We're especially excited to have Miguel here tonight. So thank you for coming. So I'm excited and we're excited to hear any questions that you may have. And as you have questions during the presentation, please type them in the chat. So a little program history. SMC IxD is one of 15 baccalaureate degrees offered at the community college level in all of California. And this interaction design program is like no other program at any community college in California or even the country. The only other institutions that offer a bachelor's degree in interaction design are private colleges. So Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, and the California College of the Arts in San Francisco have interaction design programs, but those are private. So in January of 2015, we were chosen as one of 15 community colleges to pilot a baccalaureate degree. And in May of 2015, we received our final approval from the California Community College Board of Governors. So since the approval and program launch with the first cohort pictured here in the fall of 2016, we have started our sixth cohort of students this past fall. And as of October 2021, we received permanent status at SMC. So we are a permanent program, no longer a pilot program. So we have amazing alumni who are doing really exciting work, and this is just some faces and titles to give you an idea of the breadth of work that our alumni are doing. And then of course we have an alumni here tonight that you can also ask any questions to. So Rhea is a product designer at Facebook. Amanda is a UX researcher at Plaid. And then Orhan is the co-founder of Playground Vision. He started his own studio. They focus on UI, UX development and media. We have Sarah, who is a designer at Media Monks. Sade is a UX designer at Activision, which is one of the largest interactive entertainment companies. This is the home of the game Call of Duty. And then we have Will, who is a UX researcher at JP Morgan Chase.
And we also have a beautiful building that houses our program in Santa Monica, and we're excited to be able to return to campus when it's safe to do so. All right, so today's focus is going to be on two different paths. Students who may be at 60 or more transferable credits by the end of spring 2022, you'll be able to apply to our IxD application, which is now open. For first year students, we're going to talk to you about the pathway you would take if you're interested in applying to our bachelor's degree program in the future. The tough questions may be on course equivalencies, or if you have courses from another college or work experience. We won't be answering questions in this presentation regarding the programs and submission process. If you have less than 60 transferable credits or will be starting college in the fall, there's a path for you too. And we'll be putting information in the chat about how you can make an appointment as a counselor. Keep in mind, you can start as a freshman in our graphic design program or somewhere else and transfer to SMC at any stage. Let's jump into what we're going to be covering today.
All right, so let's get started. What exactly is interaction design? Well, good design is innovative. This is Dieter Rams, an industrial designer. But what is it really? Well, interaction design is about designing for behavior and how we interact with digital products every day. It's about creating the best experience for people and meeting their researched, specific, identified needs. And that requires that interaction designers uncover complex problems, develop an understanding of who we are designing for and with, and design the best behavior for their experience. So as it says here, simply stated, interaction design is designing for behavior. Interaction designers design the experiences we have every day, and that can be from websites, mobile apps, smart objects, or end-to-end experiences we have with brands. So interaction design is the study of many things. It's very, very broad. And so as you can see in this graphic, interaction design dives into UX design. It can be part of visual design, motion design, product or industrial design, psychology, computer science, and even more. So good design makes a product useful. So what does useful mean? Well, Fitbit is a great example of making a product useful. So this is a wearable, it's unobtrusive, and since it's worn day and night, it becomes part of your skin. The interaction design with the actual device is minimal. It's there, but you don't know it. It reminds you in subtle ways. Teams of designers, including interaction designers, have created the wearable to provide an experience. So it's useful and meaningful and highly intuitive. Fitbit makes it easy and fun to track your steps and make 10,000 steps a day into a game that you can even share with your friends. So good design is thorough down to the last detail. And Uber is an example that has the details down. So everything about this experience is easy. It's revolutionized the way we call a cab and the entire transport experience itself. So no more paying a cab driver directly and tipping. A simple sign-on takes care of all the details. The experience from beginning to end is seamless from the point of contact, with your phone to the simplicity of receiving the final digital receipt. Uber has pared down the experience to the most simplest of details, even now, designing their experience around, the pandemic and wearing masks to use their product. Good design makes a product understandable. So I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with MailChimp, but this is a service that needed to be redesigned and be more understandable. So for years, sending out email campaigns was a challenging task for any business, large or small. Rather than wrestling with the management of email lists and trying to code HTML templates and sending out mass emails, MailChimp made it easy for anyone to manage and create email newsletters and campaigns. And with their own highly developed personal brand, MailChimp came along and completely reinvented the experience. They made it a fun experience filled with their own lighthearted sense of humor. In addition to interaction designer, a bachelor's degree can lead to other careers like UX designers, information architects, mobile designers, web designers, product designers, user interface designers. There's always new titles coming up and evolving as well. And these are all really well-paid careers.
The Interaction Design Bachelor of Science. Let's talk briefly about the first 2 years if you're full-time at Santa Monica College. The Graphic Design Associate of Science with UX concentration is comprised of 28 units of UX concentration and 20 units of general education.
So here are the core courses that comprise of the Graphic Design Associate's degree, and then also the UX concentration. So the core graphic design classes focus on foundations of design, so like typography, research, UX, web design, and motion graphics. There's also a class that'll help you prepare your portfolio for the IxD program, or if your path is to apply for jobs after earning your AS degree job application. So the class does both. And then the UX concentration focuses on the advanced user experience, web, and mobile design. So those are the main classes of the current graphic design AS degree. And then we have the Interaction Design Bachelor of Science, which is comprised of 60 units. It's about 35 units of core classes, which we'll talk about here in a minute, and then 25 units of other required courses. And this is, of course, always subject to change. So All descriptions of these courses are on the IxD website. So if you go to Ixd.smc.edu, you can dive in and read the course descriptions of these classes. And of course, these courses are all offered in a sequence. However, we have interaction design studios 1, 2, and 3, project management, where you learn how to really manage and approach design projects, a class called Tangible Interaction, where you will learn how to work with little microcomputers and coding and having those two kind of talk or interact together. There is an interactive storytelling class. So telling a story is part of any meaningful experience, and you have to figure out and learn how to tell a story that's impactful. Product design, where we dive into how to create physical products. Design for the future, where it's a more speculative class and you start to think about where design is going and designing experiences that are future facing. There's a really wonderful class called Design for Community Change, where the project is centered around working with our community. And then there's an IxD portfolio class, where we help you gather your portfolio, resume, cover letter, all the things that you need to apply and be prepared for interviewing and jobs. And then the capstone class is called IxD Senior Studio, and that's when you kind of get to bring everything together and put together your own thesis project. So this is a really lovely reel of design work that actually our visitor tonight, Miguel's class, put together. And so this video captures the breadth and depth of the projects made by the class of 2021 during their time in the IxD program. So let's go ahead and watch that. Oops, maybe not. Such beautiful work. So the IxD program is a firm believer in incorporating what we call real-world design challenges and sponsored projects from companies into our core classes. So this gives you the opportunity to interact and receive critique and feedback from working designers, as well as build a strong portfolio of work based on real challenges from these companies. So some of the sponsored projects we have worked with were with Activision, Red Bull, Hulu, Bird, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, and the American Heart Association. And of course, we have more that we're always adding to our list. But these challenges typically take place in the Interaction Design Studio classes, the Senior Studio, or Design for Community Change.
We encourage everybody to check out the program homepage for more information on our sequence of classes under the View Curriculum button. And also, please be sure to visit our site, especially the frequently asked questions section, for any additional questions you might have. All right, let's get to the really good stuff. The IxD program admission cycle is now currently open. Applications opened on December 1st, and the deadline is March 1st by 11:59 p.m. I say that jokingly, but sometimes students do wait to the last minute, but it is March 1st at 11:59 p.m. by 11:59 p.m. Okay, now on to our minimum qualifications. Our minimum qualifications, you must have at least 60 semester units of Cal State University transferable courses. You must also have completed English 1, 2, and 1 math class from the CSU General Education pattern and have a minimum 2.0 overall GPA or better at the time of application. We also looking for students in junior standing, 60 transferable units. We encourage a broad range of educational backgrounds to apply for the program. So here are some people we're looking for. We're looking for students who are in junior standing, as I mentioned, 60 units completed by the end of spring 2022. Individuals who have earned a previous bachelor degree. Freshmen interested in the program are encouraged to enroll now in the lower division graphic design courses to gain experience. Current students in the Santa Monica College existing graphic design associate degree program can submit materials if they're in junior standing. And then individuals who are graduates of a graphic design program or possess work experience in design are eligible to apply to the IxD program. And I know today we have a lot of students that may be from other community colleges as well. So if your community colleges have a graphic design program and you have the experience, we do encourage you to apply. Okay, so if you're brand new to Santa Monica College, we encourage you, step 1 would be to apply to SMC now and select interaction design as your goal. And then step 2 would be to complete the IxD supplemental materials, and that's through SlideRoom. And that is to go onto SlideRoom to complete your application and submit materials, including your portfolio through there. And if you have not yet applied to Santa Monica College, here is what how to get there. You go to smc.edu/apply, and we really encourage you to get that student ID number and to declare your goal as interaction design as soon as possible. If you're a current student, you can log into your Coursera Connect and update your goal under student profile, enrollment and student profile, and then log on to our website and complete the IxD supplemental materials and the application separately. So really there's 2 steps in this process.
All right, so let's talk about what we mean by IxD supplemental materials. Well, the first thing is you need to, so there's several parts to the materials you need to submit to the program. So there's a supplemental form, unofficial transcripts from all the institutions that you've attended. We'll ask for official transcripts if you are admitted. 2 personal essays, and the questions and prompts are in the application in the platform we use called SlideRoom, and a portfolio of work. So these materials will be submitted to us, like we mentioned, using a website called SlideRoom. So let's take a look a little bit more deeply into portfolio requirements. So for portfolio, you have 3 to 5 projects are what we recommend you submit. This gives us an idea of your body of work, but you have up to 5 uploads on the portfolio site to upload on SlideRoom. So if you have an external link to YouTube or Vimeo, for example, this would count as an upload. And be sure to compress your work and submit each project as a PDF, no more than 10 megabytes maximum each. And like I mentioned, please compress your files to meet the size requirement. What we really want to see is we want you to show us your design process, and I'll dive into a little bit more about what I mean about that specifically in a minute. And then, we want to see mock-ups, design comps, prototypes, and of course a project description. So it's really important to give context to your projects. So instead of just showing us something, we highly encourage you to also write about what we're looking at and give us an idea about your project. So the type of projects that we are encouraging you to submit are websites, mobile applications, any products you've designed, motion graphics, and any print work, like graphic design work. When we look at your work, the type of skills that we're assessing are concept and strategy, research and, like I mentioned, your design process, design and typography, motion and storytelling, and interactive and coding. So what do I mean by design process? Well, this can include sketching, research, diagrams, user flows, sitemaps, personas, wireframes, wire flows, mockups, and or design comps. So really the entire process. We want to not just see the beautiful final deliverable, but the work that you put in to getting there. So include a prototype of your project. So this could be, like I mentioned, a mock-up or a design comp and or a link to a website prototype built using, code, JavaScript or HTML, CSS, whatever. Some sort of a prototype. Right now, a lot of our students are using a tool called Figma to create prototypes. Also, Adobe XD is a really good option. You could include a video presentation of your prototype in action, or any other means of showing us your final outcome for your project. So, like I mentioned, project description. Write a brief written description of the project should accompany each piece. So written explanations are an essential element of a project. So while your design is important, we are interested in the way you describe your project and express your ideas. And we understand that many design projects are team-based, so please include a statement about what your specific role was in the design. And projects can be class assignments, they can be professional, or they can be self-initiated. So here's an example of a student work created for a website design. So it shows a persona on the far left, workflows and wireframes for a website. And what we want to see is the design process. And the prototype in this case was an actual functioning site. So providing a link to the prototype is highly encouraged. Another student project, this time the example is a mobile app. So this student is showing their design process and goals for the project, which included low and more mid-fidelity sketches. So the admissions committee wants to see your thought process and how you came to your final design.
All right, give me 1 second. Our IxD website has helpful resources that will support you working on your application and portfolio submission. In the chat, I just shared some links that will help you. The first link is a video you can watch at your own pace that will review what interaction design is, the career opportunities, and how to apply. The second is examples of student portfolio submission to review. And the third resource is an outline of how you could structure your projects in your portfolio submission. And if you miss getting this, I will email everybody after the same link. So don't worry if you missed that. So now we're going to move on to some suggestions. As we mentioned, the deadline is March 1st, 2022, no later than 11:59 p.m. So we really do encourage you to start working on your materials now. Refine your projects, submit your best work, revise and rewrite essays. These are personal statements. So, if you were also applying to a UC or a Cal State, we would encourage you to have your peers or your friends or family review your essays for you and give feedback. And of course, plan your time wisely. I know we all have the urge to procrastinate to the last minute, but I really do encourage you to plan your time wisely because we're less than a month away from the deadline. And if there are any questions you have, please type them in the chat. However, you can also find the answers about the application and portfolio submission process on Ixd.smc.edu. So we had some questions that were submitted beforehand, so we're gonna go to those first, and I see there's some questions coming in the chat as well, so just bear with me as I work through this. So the first question is, how long does it usually take for a full-time student to graduate? Just a couple pieces of information about our program. When you enter the program, it's a cohort. You're entering with the same group of students. You're graduating with the same group of students. It is the intent that you complete the program with, in the 2-year time frame of being a junior and a senior. It takes 2 years. The next question is about being remote and virtual. Okay, so is the program available virtually? Right now, the program will be done remotely through at least spring 2022. At this time, we don't have information about fall, but we do encourage you, if you're from out of state or out of the country, to be available to be on campus in the fall in case it is either in person or it's a hybrid. So we do encourage you to be prepared for that. And this question is for Miguel. Miguel, it asks, what type of support did you feel that you had from faculty, counselors, and staff? Can you discuss that?
Yes, definitely. So the support that really stood out to me was basically helping me find kind of like what path to go to, because I was the type of designer coming into the program where it was just like, I just want to do everything. I want to be a motion designer, I want to be a visual brand designer, UI, UX, and all that stuff. But what they gave me really is a clear explanation and an understanding of like how I should look at this, and basically, which ties into like one of the most useful things that I got out of the program, which is that taking these as tools and really just using them as that just tools to like accomplish whatever creative problem you try to accomplish. But they helped me get through that idea of get a sense of clarity of what I want to do with my career and what I wanted to use my interaction design skills in. So in that sense, if you just talk to them, go to the their office hours, it would really help you through it. And you have 2 years to figure it out. You don't have to figure everything out right now. But just talking to them, they gave me like a lot of clarity and support in finding what I want to do.
Great, thanks, Miguel. And this next question, I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit. The student mentioned that their first semester at SMC wasn't the best GPA wise. Does this count them out from applying to the program? Well, the answer is absolutely not. As long as you meet the minimum requirements of a 2.0 GPA and you feel you have the experience to put in that portfolio, then you should absolutely apply. It doesn't preclude you from applying at all. So if you had a rough start, we've had a really crazy couple of years with the pandemic. So I know not everyone has been able to succeed the way they wanted to, but if you have the minimum GPA of a 2.0 and you meet the other requirements that we discussed earlier, certainly we encourage everybody to apply. This question is for you, Nicole. It's about game developers. Do game developers also utilize interaction design?
Absolutely. Yeah. So game developers would probably could potentially be on a team with someone who isn't an interaction designer or a user experience designer. A lot of the companies that I have friends or colleagues at that, like Riot Games or Activision, they do hire interaction designers to be part of the team with the developers. So I think if you are coming as a developer, it would be an opportunity for you to learn and experience and design and add that kind of those methods and methodologies to your toolkit of development. That would be, I don't know if that answered the question, but absolutely.
No, it does. Thank you.
Sure.
Just kind of moving on here. Someone mentions that they have a bachelor's degree already and they're thinking about a career change. Can you still apply? Again, absolutely. If you have the minimum requirements and you have portfolio experience that you can put together for our program, you want to be able to show your best work. So if you have UX, UI experience, whether that's through work or through some courses, and that goes out to the students that may be taking design technology or graphic design courses, either at SMC or any other community colleges. Even if you haven't completed the associate degree, if you feel that you've met the minimum requirements, then certainly you can apply. We do recommend that you complete the associate degree, but if you've met all the other requirements, certainly you can apply as well. And then at the end of this session, I will send out an email with how you can make an appointment to one of our counselors. We have two really great counselors, Amanda and Ashley. They've been with the program for a very long time, and they're good at helping you plan. And if you want to take more courses before you have your heart set on applying, then we'll set up an educational plan for you. This next question is related to the portfolio. Is asking, have students ever submitted 3D printing or 3D printed objects in relation to the portfolio?
Yeah, 3D meaning like Rhino type of files. I mean, like, is it like three-dimensional like digital files, or like shot photographs of three-dimensional physical products?
They
I guess
didn't elaborate, and I don't see the person in the chat adding
I guess
into it.
both, though. I guess both
Yeah.
is great. Yeah, it's again, it's so also just, whatever the final product is, whether digital or physical, showing how you got there, the process of how you got there. Maybe it's sketches, maybe it's the first, iteration and why it didn't work, and then why you settled on the final, and what its features or strengths were as opposed to your initial idea. That would be what I would add to it.
Okay, so now we have some questions where we get to when do you hear back from the program after the March 1st deadline? The process is that our counselors review eligibility, and our intent is to let everybody know before Santa Monica College's spring break whether or not they're admitted to the program or not. I believe that's the week right around April 9th is when that is. But again, depending on how many number of applications we have to go through and verify eligibility. Sometimes students have transcripts from other colleges, and it just takes a little bit of time. And then, of course, if you move on to interview phase and final phase, it just takes a little bit of time to review through. But our intent is by spring break for SMC. Okay. Miguel, this question is for you. Is what is something you wish you knew when you applied to the program?
Something I wish I knew before going into the program. That's hard.
That is hard.
Probably that's really hard. Because I really learned a lot from the program in itself, just because of the cohort and everything. Probably being able to be, to comfortably approach someone, whether that's your instructor or your friends. I wish I knew how to be more social coming into the program, or just being okay with reaching out and stuff, because the best projects, the best interactions that I've had were the ones where I was, working with people, constantly talking to them and reaching out. Not even just side projects and stuff like that. Yeah, I wish I was more sociable from the beginning. That's that. Yeah, that's what I wish I knew coming into the program.
Awesome, thank you. So this question is, if you have a bachelor's degree and you're interested in this program, is the process the same since the GE has been completed? And is it only a matter of completing the application and portfolio? The process is the same. What I do recommend doing when I put the counselor's information in the chat, feel free to make an appointment with them just to make sure you've met all eligible requirements. Sometimes some bachelor's programs are missing English too. So again, it's just good to review it with a counselor, but yes, you'd also have to complete the application and their portfolio. The other question is, give me 1 second. The one student is asking if you can just go back to the supplemental prerequisite slide again, if you don't mind, Nicole.
Supplemental prerequisite slide. I can try. Supplemental prerequisite slide. Was this one? This one?
I think so.
Oh, sorry, went too far.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the supplemental application is the one that you're going to find on the how to apply page from Ixd.smc.edu. If you have transcripts from any other schools, please make sure to include them. There'll be the 2 personal essays, and there'll be ways to upload your portfolio. Okay. This next question is, if one of the required classes in progress taking in spring, can we still apply? Yes. Again, it's, we want you to have these done by ideally by the end of spring of 2022. So if you're in progress on English 1, English 2, English 2, completing those 60 units, please, please do apply this year. Okay. So I am just going to scroll through here. Bear with me. We have lots of questions coming in. If I've completed my bachelor's and I haven't completed English 2 or any other GE requirements while taking them in another community college work, the first thing I would recommend is to show your transcripts to a counselor, because we would just go through and verify if you have or haven't taken some of these other general ed courses or general ed requirements. But yeah, we have students that have transferred into this program from Pasadena City, from Rio Hondo, from FITM, from schools up north. Miguel, you came from a community college up north, so again, you can take your courses at another community college, certainly, but before you make that decision on whether or not to apply this semester, I'll put in the chat how to connect with a counselor. We are going to be putting this video online afterwards on YouTube. I will include that in my after email that goes out. So don't worry if you miss anything that we say to you. So don't worry about that. Let me just go through here. One student asks if they're if they work full-time. I'm currently working full-time, or the class is virtual and at my own pace. Can I take the class in the evening? So right now, yes, the classes are currently remote through spring 2022. It's a cohort class. Most of the classes are gonna be starting 2 p.m. and after, but you do have to be full-time in the program. It's not something that is at your own pace, where if you're used to some online modalities where there's like a framework to do your online courses. Nicole, Luke, Maxim, some of the core faculty, they're on there and they're lecturing and they're working with you in on there in scheduled settings. So you do have to be with the class the whole time. So if you're able to, we have students that work full time and come to school full time. Is just really about that timing and time management. But I would say most of our classes are 2 p.m. and after is when you're going to find them scheduled. And I don't know, Nicole, if you're able to answer this. Someone who has lots of experience with graphic design, they want to know, like in the professional world, how do you evaluate work history?
How do I evaluate work history?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody doesn't, like, say for example, someone is not taking any design tech or graphic design, but they've learned, on the job for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a couple, I guess I would suggest a couple different things. One, still portfolio of work is going to be huge, and you should have some really cool professional stuff that you can show. Writing about the projects and giving context to them is great. If you have any, first iterations or first, comps of design to show process, is going to be helpful. Another thing that you might do if you've been working, for 10 whatever plus years, including a resume. It's not something that we suggest, but resumes are really great because we can see what positions you've held, what you've done, what those roles have asked you to do. If you worked your way up from junior designer to senior designer to art director. So that would be really, really helpful from the admissions side. Hopefully that helped.
Yeah, I think it did.
Okay.
Give me 1 second as I'm. So this student is a little bit on the flip side. They've completed their, by definition, they may be junior standing, but they don't have a lot of experience in design right now. How would they go about creating a portfolio? Or if they don't have any experience, would you recommend that they maybe take some courses first before applying?
Yeah, so SMC, I mean, you can obviously shop around, but Santa Monica College Design Department has a really great user experience certificate. So it's about 4 classes, and you would get to experience, user experience one, um, and that is a nice, core um, class that you could start to see if you even enjoyed this type of work. And if you did, you could take the four classes for that user experience certificate. And those classes should give you work to put in a portfolio, which would help you with your application. That, I mean, I think that would probably not help you with an application now, but it sounds like you need some work and some experience under your belt.
Right. And that's where somebody like, Amanda and Ashley, who are great, partners in the counseling department, they would be able to come in and help develop an educational plan for you. If you are not ready to apply this go around, they can help and determine if that certificate is the best option, or maybe an associate degree as well. This is going back to the student that mentioned that they had lots of experience. The work experience that's evaluated is only for admission. Once you're in the program, it is still the 2-year program. There's no like credit by examination. You have to complete the 2-year program. Okay.
Correct.
Next question. Besides web and mobile design, are there any other type of projects you suggest adding that you can add?
Sure. I mean, graphic design projects where we want to, look at your typography, spatial awareness, motion. We talked about motion is really great for storytelling. Yeah, UX product design. If you have physical or digital, of course, product design is great too. Mobile or desktop website design is cool.
And when you go back and look at that slide, that all the different careers that are available from in UX and UI, so that's something you want to think about when you're putting together your portfolio. Right now I'm putting in the chat, her name is Diana Pennington. Diana Pennington is the assistant for the counseling department. In your subject line, if you want to make an appointment with Amanda or Ashley, just say IxD counselor appointment, and let them know that you attended an info session and you're interested in making an appointment. I do encourage you, because again, this is just the beginning of February. As we get closer, and then the start of spring semester is on February 14th, the closer we get to the deadline, the more the schedules get constricted for Amanda and Ashley to meet with you. So this is a really good time, especially next week, to make some appointments with them, so they could look over everything with you. And again, they'll be available those weeks, but they're not only are they working with our students in interaction design, they support the entire Center for Media and Design. So we really have these extra hours for them in the winter to help you navigate through your eligibility and questions about that. Other things to know, if you missed that email, I'm going to post this YouTube video. It should be up at some point tomorrow. And secondly, I will send out an email with all the different links. I also encourage you to start the application, look it over. If there's any questions, you can always reach out to me. My email is Ixd.smc.edu. Okay, so again, I'm the project manager. My name is Jeff. So you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. And I do encourage you to start that application just to see if there's anything that you had a question on, or anything I can assist you with, and I'll do my best to connect you with the various resource. Since Nicole is on the admissions committee, she cannot answer any other questions other than in this public setting. So we will have one more info session that is going to be on also on a day with a bunch of twos in it. on Tuesday, February 22nd at 7 p.m. That's 1 week before the deadline. That one gets kind of chaotic. There's a lot of students in there asking a lot of questions, but that's, the last opportunity to meet with Nicole, because she is on the committee and making decisions about who's admitted. So this is the space to do it. Please take advantage of that. I'll put the information about how to RSVP to our next info session in the chat. But I do encourage you to get to know the application, start working on your personal statement, start building that portfolio if you're ready. If you apply, the question that comes up a lot is, what happens if I apply this year and I don't get in? Can I apply next year? Yes, we have students that didn't get in one year and apply again the following year and get in. Things change year to year. The number of people that applied change year to year. The competitiveness of the class changes year to year. So we do encourage you to apply this year. If you don't get in, you can start over again next year and apply, and you'll have more experience under your belt. So I definitely do encourage that. So if there's not any other questions, first of all, thank you for coming out on a Tuesday night. Thank you to everybody who's part of a special program at Santa Monica College, or maybe through some of the other community college partners that are here today. We really appreciate you coming out tonight. And stay tuned for emails from me. You're going to hear from me a lot. I'll be reminding you up until like almost midnight that it's due. So just stay tuned, and we're here to help you fill out that application. So have a great evening. We look forward to seeing your application soon. If not, we'll see you at the next info session in one of our design tech classes this fall. Have a great evening, everybody.